This is stop number 1 for the 2011 Superboat International Racing season. We are back in beautiful Cocoa Beach, Florida. Hi everybody, I'm Stan Lane and this is the Bright House Space Coast Superboat Grand Prix. 29 of the biggest and fastest race boats in the entire world have made their way here for some fast and hot racing. Not only hot on the course, but hot here. It's 96 degrees. But we've got a very, very fast track. 2 to 3 foot seas, light winds, the occasional swell. We got some big fast boats here, turbines, Super V Extremes, and the list goes on and on. Sit back, buckle your seatbelt tight. We're getting ready to go racing. I'm looking for some high speeds, and as we speak, we're seeing the boats coming out of there counterclockwise, milling circles. They're starting to form a line behind the pace boat. You see right there, John, that pace boat has the yellow flag flying, and he will get up on plane as he's doing so right now. You see a couple of rooster tails as the boats speed up, and they'll get behind him when everybody's lined up evenly. As I said, the yellow flag will drop down. They'll raise the green flag. They're picking up speed right now. You can probably hear some of the engine noise as they head towards us to the pier, trying to line up evenly. Still have a yellow flag right now. There's the green flag, and we are going racing. Off to an early lead is the Superboat Cat Risk S1. That's Gary Blue on board. Very, very fast, 32-foot Doug Wright catamaran, followed by S111. And it's anybody's race so far as they head. The leader in Super V Limited is Sunprint, that 29-foot extreme boat. And John, we had a pretty clean start. It looked good. Now, if we'll turn back to our left, we can see our second start of race number 1. This is the Production 2 and Production 4 classes. Production 2 runs 105, Production 4 runs 80. These are mostly V-bottom boats, but you'll see the occasional catamaran in there, which I see on the left-hand side. Getting up on plane now.
Ideally, how much time goes by between the start of the first heat and the second heat?
Minimal time, because you want the boats not to catch up. See, the boats that start in the first race are faster than these here, so they will eventually probably catch them. So for safety purposes, you want the slower boats to start after the faster ones, but not that much behind them. And we have a start, and it's Daredevil leading the way right now in Production 4. Velocity just off of his transom. B465 in the mix as well. Here comes Zip Express. They are a brand new team this year. When you're a brand new team, you have to start a little bit behind the other pack, and that's for safety purposes as well. We don't want to have any mishaps. We have a very second place will not be determined until after the race to see if any boats incurred penalties.
You can certainly see the boats skimming across the top of the water. That is a very new meeting up on plane.
Well, that is S1. It's called Risk. It used to be called Mapei. He's changed sponsorships, and the S1 signifies that he is reigning and defending national champion. That's Gary Blue on board with Darren Schwartz in that 32-foot Doug Wright catamaran, making the turn now. You see how the catamarans have to swing a little wider, because the catamaran is 2 holes joined by a wing in the middle. That wing packs air and raises the boats up. They have to swing wider, whereas the deep V's on their turns can lean into it and cut it a whole lot closer. Second place right now, trying to run down Risk, is Team Talbot. Another 32-foot Doug Wright. Third place is the Kilo record holder, Steve Quick Jewelers, and fourth place is you're gonna have that, and fifth place is S111, and sixth place is Wheels. Now Wheels, we call him Wheels. He is wheelchair bound. He is in that yellow boat, Castronovo Racing. He has to be picked up and placed in the boat and strapped in. This guy is a hero to everybody because he's wheelchair bound, but he gets out there and races over 110 miles an hour. In Superboat stock class, formerly Rolling Vengeance, now a brand new sponsor, Castronovo. That's a vineyard. I hope you're not going to be drinking out there. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. Now we hooked up with Paul Castronova out of Fort Lauderdale with Big 106, and he has a vineyard over in Italy, and decided he wanted to get into racing, so we said, let's form a partnership, and so we did. So we're going to give it a shot and see where we can go with it.
We got some great competition here in Cocoa Beach. This class has really come alive for 2011.
Yes, sir. We got 6 boats in our class, and we're going to be very competitive.
Water conditions 2 to 3 feet, but as you can feel, Wheels, the wind's kind of picking up. What are you looking for out there tomorrow on the race course?
I think the winds will pick up after we're done. I think it's going to stay calm. I think we're going to run 1s and 2s tomorrow. I think we're going to have a lot of speed, and I think it's going to be good. We got some serious competition out there. We got Gary Ballou back this year again. We got Talbot, who is on a roll that I think I'm going to have to give him my wheelchair because he's going to roll right past us. But we're going to try and catch him, so let's see what we can do.
How was that leg that got shattered last year? I'm sure it mended okay. I'm hoping it did.
Yeah, it's still attached to the body. Everything healed real well, and let's not have another incident like that.
That was pretty awesome, pretty scary.
We put on a show. That's what we're supposed to do. Man, it was kind of a wrong show, but hey, we're here, we're healthy, we're ready to go. Let's rock and roll.
In Superboat Stock S1, which signifies reigning and defending national champion team Risk. Gary, you're here in Cocoa Beach, and you got some great competition. This class kind of wanes for a year, then it comes back. It's back strong now.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 boats in the class for sure at this venue, which we hope there'll be more next year. But it's a wonderful class to run. It's not about money, Stan. It's about competition, and everybody in this class knows that we all have an equal chance of winning. And all the boats weigh the same. We all have the same motors. It's just a fun time out there. It's like being on a go-kart track.
Speaking of those motors, there are spec engines, 2.5 liter, high winding little outboards. The only class in SBI with outboards, but it is a fan favorite class.
Yeah, it is. The outboards kind of throw out to the public, oh, it won't be that fast, but these boats will run 120 miles an hour. In race trim, when we're running, it's between 100 and 110, but they're capable of 120 mile an hour speeds.
Affectionately known as egg beaters, the outboards, but there's a lot of people that have fishing boats and pleasure boats that have outboards, so they know the reliability of these things. But these 2.5s, they do wind really high. They're high revving motors, and they can break.
Yeah, they're 8,200 RPM motors, but anything can break, Stan, especially in racing. But these motors for Mercury, they've done a wonderful job with them. We don't have failures in the like the motor department. It'll be something else maybe in the boat. But as far as the motors are concerned, yes, the public can generally relate to it because they have these in their fishing boats. And what we do here is we're like Mercury's R&D, where anything that breaks at the races, they go back to their plants and develop things that are better for the fishing people on the weekends, so it'll last.
You've had a bullseye on your back for many years. I guess you get kind of getting used to that feeling now, because once again with the S1, everybody's going to be gunning for you.
Yeah, we've got I think 10 national championships and 9 world championships, and there's always somebody trying to knock you off of that. And I've got 97 first place finishes, and I'm just looking for 100, and I don't care how long it takes me to get it.
Steve Quick Jewelers, Superboat Stock. Guys, you've been wrenching on the boat. You're a little dusty, and you just finished testing. How are the water conditions?
It's a little bumpier than everyone expects, Stan. They're telling us that we should be taking it with our bigger props, but we're gonna need everything we can for a bumpy ride.
Now, Lee, you had some surgery last year. You didn't race for a while. You came back at Key West, and you guys did great in round 1 at Key West. So I know you're anxious to do very well here in Cocoa Beach.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it's the old boy and the old girl and the old boat. 2 of us, we just keep hanging in there and keep coming back one at a time.
Speaking of coming back, this class seems to be coming back strong in 2011.
Yeah, it sure does. 6 or 7 boats are going to be out there, and we can't wait to get in the thick of it. That's what we're here for. We like to race.
You guys still hold the world speed kilo record, and I know you'd like to hang on to it for a long time.
I think we're going to hang on to it for a long time. It ain't a matter of like, they just can't whoop us.
There you go. I like the bold talk. Let's see you perform on the course. Can't wait.
I'm hoping we're going to do great.
Second place right now, trying to run down Risk, is Team Talbot. Another 32-foot Doug Wright. Third place is the kilo record holder, Steve Quick Jewelers, and fourth place is you're gonna have that, and fifth place is S111, and sixth place is Wheels. Now Wheels, we call him Wheels. He is wheelchair bound. He is in that yellow boat, Castronovo Racing. He has to be picked up and placed in the boat and strapped in. This guy is a hero to everybody because he's wheelchair bound, but he gets out there and races over 110 miles an hour.
That certainly is not bounding him at this point in time because he's in this race.
You got that right. And now they're a little bit ahead, but they're deck to deck, bow to bow. This is some great racing. They have both the same horsepower, so it boils down to hull design. It looks like the activator's got a little more speed, making another pass as they go by us, John.
Now, are they over 100 miles an hour at this point in time?
Those boats are coming down to the north turn where we are is our leader in production 4. That is the Velocity boat. That's a father and son duo, the Kildall, Steve and Steven. And in second place is Daredevil. That's a 32-foot Aerotech hull out of the Sarasota area.
Once again, how many total miles will this be in this particular race?
Well, all the production boats that we're seeing going by us right now, all the production boats run 48 miles. That's 9 laps. That's 54 miles. It looks like our brand new team in this catamaran, they're just having to kind of like cut their teeth on racing. It's a whole different ballgame out there. They have a very, very fast boat, but they're taking it easy. They're being smart. They don't want to push anything and get in over their head too early. But this boat is capable of going about 115, 120 miles an hour should they finally want to open it up.
I noticed that he did look like he's having a little trouble negotiating.
And as I said, safety always more important than your first checkered flag. I want to thank the city of Cocoa Beach now, so hopefully our live streaming will be up here momentarily as well. So we'll be doing some double duty, I guess, or I will anyway.
Excellent. Well, the nice thing about it is we're still having a beautiful day here. Once again, we are broadcasting currently live at the Cocoa Beach Pier is where we are located. And that's actually the first part of the race course. The race course then goes from about the Cocoa Beach Pier to a couple of miles.
Risk and Team Talbot going by us right now. Talbot Excavating, Tyler Talbot on board from Bremerton, Washington, and Joey. I might mention that the Superboat stock are the only boats in the entire field that have the outboards. They have that unique, you hear them right now, that high winding, high pitched sound. They rev up to about 8,000 RPMs. They're very lightweight. They don't have the horsepower of those big block. But speed is always a product of horsepower, to 300 horsepower apiece. So these boats can do about 110 miles an hour. Limited boats. Wow, we've had several passes already, John, as they duke it out. And you see these smaller boats, you see the hull action that the waves dictate that these smaller boats are going to bounce because the hull does not span the length between the waves, so they're going down and up a lot more. You get a rougher ride than you do on the longer boats. Steve Quick Jewelers went way out wide after he almost lost it there, and he lost a lot of valuable ground, or you're going to have that.
Well, coming up on what could be considered a mistake at that point in time, will really.
Reliable service. That's a 30-foot skater, and they are currently unofficially in third place.
Exactly, I know.
Now in Super V Limited, that little 27-foot activator, absolutely not. Frank Sorrow on board that boat for the first time this year. They're battling out with Sunprint. Steve Miklos and Gary DeSoucy's aboard that 29-foot Extreme, and the 29-foot Extreme seems to corner a little bit better than that activator. He has cut that pin for the third or fourth time now and made up about 40 feet, just like that. That activator has been known to be a little squirrely over the years, so I'm sure that they're keeping that in mind. That boat has been upside down numerous times, but they were telling me they got the center of gravity worked out, and it's a lot more stable now than it has been in previous years. P2 6-foot Spectra Cat. Now that cat, we haven't seen that cat in years, but that's a former Kilo record holder. Very, very fast open cockpit 36-foot catamaran, but as we said earlier, a brand new team, so they're just getting there. They're going a lot faster now than they were on that first lap. Learning the boat. Because Bob actually rented the entire pier out for his VIP party, and we're taking a little corner, the north corner of it, and he was gracious in his beautiful 48-foot MTI. He's got some brand new Mercury power this year, the turbine, I'm sorry, the turbo-powered Mercury power plants. So I'm sure that we're going to see a piston versus turbine battle as they will be starting together. I've had numerous questions from the fans here. Will the turbine boats and the big piston engine boats, Super V Extreme and Superboat Unlimited, will they be starting together? Yes, they will. So it's going to be a drag race to the first turn for sure. Coming around the north turn right now is Talbot Excavating. They are still currently unofficially in second place behind Team Risk. Gary Ballou and Darren Schwartz on board. Those hulls are pretty much identical, 32-foot Doug Wright catamarans. Absolutely not on the backstretch, still leading Sunprint, but not by much, perhaps about a 2.5, 3 second lead. It looks like starting to run down these Super V Limited boats. So they're going to be in that mix too. Steve and Steven Kildall aboard that very, very fast Velocity hull. Big old pad on the back of that boat. No steps, but it's fast. But you have to balance it. You have to get it up on that pad and ride it. And they're doing a good job of that right now as they all three go by us. you're going to have that is also a Doug Wright. It's an older, one of the first ones he did, 30 feet in length, and now I'm seeing Risk in the infield. Risk has broken down, so that puts Talbot Excavating in first place unofficially, and Super got off to a great start, looking really good for a couple of laps, showing everyone their transom as they have done so many times over the years. But Gary Ballou headed back in the infield now, being led by one of our patrol boats. Obviously a major mishap. They're not even attempting to work on the boat.
I know that the overall length may be the same, but the course itself, is it still about 2 miles, 2.5 miles?
Well, it's about 2.5 miles one way, with the two turns, the north turn and the south turn. You know, roughly all the race courses are about the same, roughly anywhere from 5 to 7 miles. Now the Sarasota course is a little different. That's more of a boomerang style course. You've got some left-hand turns and some right-hand turns. Most of these race courses are only that boats run counterclockwise, so you're turning left all the time. But in a couple of race courses, you have to make a right-hand turn. There's their leader, Talbot Excavating, S29. Looking good with the orange and white paint out there. I think he's pulled back, but because the third place boat is well back, Risk is out of it now, so they can breathe a little easier. But you never know in offshore racing when something's going to break, when something could go wrong. You hear those noises, a funny noise, you go, oh no, something's going. Speaking of going by us right now, Zip Express. So they got that boat up to some pretty good speed now. In production too, Zip Express. I remember this boat from years ago. It was a kilo record holder. Very, very fast, Spectra hull. And you guys are a new team this year. I'm looking forward to seeing it run.
And boy, we're excited to get out there. First race, 2-foot seas. It's going to be perfect for running this boat today, boy.
You guys are from Florida, your home state. This is a great crowd here in Cocoa Beach. They love their offshore racing here.
All right, we're a local team. We're from Sebastian. My driver, Bruce, is from Melbourne. So we hope to give the locals a good race to watch.
Have you done a whole lot of testing in this boat?
No, I haven't done a lot of testing. I've always owned deep feed, cigarettes, fountains. This is actually the first cat I've owned, so we're going to spend a little time out there testing.
It's going to be fun. Air this thing out because it is extremely fast. Can't wait to see it run.
I know, and we got Neil here that used to drive it and stuff. He's going to be watching me, so we'll air it out.
I just want to thank BCM Storage, Buffed Up Detailing, and Neil Wolby, because without all of them, we wouldn't be where we are today.
which is speed bracket. They changed it this year. We no longer have production 5, which used to be 75 miles an hour. We have production 4, which is 80, production 3, which is 9, is 105, and production 1 is 117. And we're watching the production 2 and production 4. Did not have any production 3 boats here in Cocoa Beach this year. And then the next race at 1 o'clock will be the Superboat Unlimited, Super V Extreme, Turbine, Super Cat, and Production 1. Still a great battle going on between Absolutely Not and Sunprint. You hear them going by us right now as we speak. Still about maybe a 1 to 2 second gap now. In the Super V Limited class, this little 27-foot activator that's been all over the course, all over the world. This thing is fun to watch. But you guys have raced before, but never in this boat together. Absolutely not.
I'm super excited that Frank in the boat this year. We've raced together before. We work well together. He's got a ton of experience in single-engine boats. It's going to be the right combination, and I think we're going to go out and do some business today.
As I just said, Frank, this boat is very exciting to watch because it gets a little squirrely, it gets loose very fast. People love to watch it.
Yeah, Stan, I think you're going to be surprised. Mark's done a lot of work over the winter. I've got my hands into it a little bit. We've done some drive changes, some weight changes, some prop changes. This class is going to run good this year. I think you're going to see quite a few boats. They better keep their eyes open because we're going to be right on them.
Speaking of great competition, Steve Mikolos, Gary DeSoucy's in that Sunprint boat. Is that a Phantom or an Extreme?
That's an Extreme.
Yeah, very, very fast. Going to be some good competition for you guys.
Yeah, it is. We're going to go test right now, and we'll see if we got anything for them. But I feel pretty comfortable. I mean, we got work to do. Don't get me wrong. It'll take us a couple of races, but I think we're going to be real close. And this class really helps. I mean, Steve just lent us 2 props I got in the truck. You know, a lot of advice, a lot of help, a lot of experience. So, you know, between what Mark's done, what I'm doing, the rest of the organization will help us. I mean, we'll be right in the hunt. I mean, there's nobody going to be running away from us.
Looking forward to seeing a great battle, and keep this red side up, white side down, red side up.
That's exactly my goal.
Boat, and sometimes it takes a while to get things worked out. You have to almost know what your partner is going to do before he does it, you know, and get that synchronization. And as I'm talking here, I see that Steve Quick Jewelers is broken down as well. He's in the infield, headed back. Motorsports, and it took a while. Radio Shack, I guess, came through for us. I'm going to give them a plug because you got it going. But the racing here is excellent. Wish you could be here. As we said, picture blue skies, not a cloud in the sky. The beaches are slam-packed behind me. As John pans around, you see our spectator fleet is awesome. You see there going into turn number 2, Talbot Excavating. He is our unofficial leader in Superboat stock, and he's had a flawless run all day long. Unofficially in production 2 is Zip Express. And I might mention that between races, I told John number 1 and 2. Are you 1 or 2? It doesn't matter to me. Okay, he's 1 and you're 2. All right, John, I told John number 1 with ESPN that I've got about 15 interviews that I shot in the pits, the wet and dry pits yesterday, and we're going to show those between the races. And of course, the radio will have the audio, and the live stream will actually see the interviews. So that should be interesting for the fans to see. Now, as the phone rings for John number 2 again, we have Sunprint has taken over the lead over Absolutely Not as the laps wind down. He's got roughly about a 4-second lead, I would say. Looks like about maybe half a football. No, not quite that much. That Sunprint can really turn. I tell you, Gary DeSoucies and Steve Miklos, really, they've been inside that boat for a long time. They know that boat inside and out. And that thing turns on a dime and gives you 9 cents change. And they just opened up an extra 3-second lead going through that turn, north turn over Absolutely Not. Unofficially still your leader in production 4 is the father-son duo, Ryan Beckley and Ryan Slater on board that boat. As they go by right now, you hear that very, very distinctive sound of those outboard engines. 2.5 liter, 280 to almost 300 horsepower. Down at Talbot Excavating, but they got a ways to go because Talbot is looking good. He was duking it out with Team Risk before Risk broke. And third place, Castronova with wheels on board going by.
This is John Roberts along with Stan Lane today in return course. It's been going on now. We've been racing for almost an hour.
Yeah, you're right. The racers are headed back now. The race, while we were on break, the race finished up. Of course, as I said earlier, we cannot see the start-finish boat from here, Air Vantage Point. We're blocked out by a humongous tiki bar where everybody's having a great time here, enjoying the VIP party. But the race, our first race of the day, is officially over. You see the boats headed back now. I'm trying to watch this monitor, and I'm squinting as hard as I can, and then there you can see a few boats. They're headed back towards the wet pits, so they'll be going back, and they'll be craning out. The other boats, the larger boats, will be craning in, and looking forward to seeing those guys. John, I got to tell you, I know you, when the boats first took off, you were excited. You ain't seen nothing yet. These next boats are bigger, they're twice as loud, and they're twice as fast. It's going to be wild, I tell you. You're going to really be in for a thrill. We're going to be looking at 2 starts at 1 o'clock. The first start will be Superboat Unlimited, and the boats in that class are CMS, which is a 48-foot MTI. It's orange and black. It's got 2 1,500 horsepower Mercury Racing motors. Randy Sissom, who actually builds the MTIs, is the throttle man along with the owner driver Bob Bull. Also in the Superboat Unlimited class, WHM Motorsports, a 40-foot skater. And I was talking to Billy Moff and Jay Muller earlier about the shorter hull in these water conditions of 2 to 3s might be to their advantage. Lighter weight boat. And he's got those big 1,300 plus horsepower blower motors back in that little 40, I should say little, 40 foot's huge, but compared to the 48 foot MTI, it's a lot smaller. But that's going to be a very, very fast boat. Should have some great acceleration. And the Superboat V Extreme is that Geico Caveman I talked about earlier. That's Skater V-bottom. And they've got twin 1,200 horsepower Chief engines in there. Arneson drives, Mark Pascoe from Southampton, England, and the throttles is Richard Carr from Poulis, England. In turbine class, 113, Miss Geico, 50-foot Mystic, Mark Granite, Scott Begovich on board with twin 1,850 Lycoming turbine motors, BPM drives. Number 741 is that brand new team this year, Miss Merrimack, a 47-foot MTI Cat with twin 1,900 horsepower turbine marine motors. So you've got Lycoming versus turbine marine, should be a good rivalry. Same kind of a drive system, the BPM, which are surface piercing drives, pretty much bulletproof, and you need that for that high horsepower. On board Miss Mary Mack is the driver owner, Richard Cheney, and on throttles is John Aruda. Displayed, so 3 minutes or less. What they do in that 3-minute time period, John Carbonell, the SBI president and race director, he will make a phone call to all the law enforcement. He will make a phone call to the Manatee Watch, make sure the course is clear, and the final call will be to all of our Angel helicopter ships, our divers, our paramedics, and our trauma surgeon. Make sure they are ready to go, and when the course is clear, then the pace boat will put the red flag down and raise the yellow flag, and that signals the boats to come out of their counterclockwise milling circle, and they'll form a straight line behind the pace boat, and they'll slowly and gradually get up on plane, and then they'll, when they're up going about 70 miles an hour and everybody's lined up evenly, they'll lower that yellow flag, raise the green flag, and once again we'll be going racing. And I want to tell you what, it's going to be a drag race to that first turn. Not only because you're better off to get to the first turn to have that clean water. You want to try to avoid the turbulated water and the wakes of your competitors. But not only that, they want to get to that first turn for bragging rights. I've heard numerous teams talking about the bragging rights of the drag race to the first turn. So will it be piston power making it, or will it be turbine power? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we're very close to the start. As you say, we've received the warning, the 3-minute warning, that the race is about to begin. The boats are still in their pre-race condition. They're out in the water. They're off to the right of us here. We're located currently at the very end of the Cocoa Beach Pier. We've got a great vantage spot to bring you the action of these races, these boats as they take off and get ready to make some history here today at the Cocoa Beach.
Now, the slowest boats we saw in the first race, as the boats are getting up on plane now, they were going 80 miles an hour. The slowest boats in this race, John, will be going 117. So it's going to be 117 on up to probably about 170. They are getting up on plane now as we speak. They have to stay 100 yards behind the pace boat. They cannot crowd the pace boat or they could get a penalty. And that is for safety purposes, because the pace boat will peel off. Once the green flag raises, the pace boat will peel off towards the beach side, and they cannot go around the pace boat on the right side. They have to give him a free berth to head towards the shore. And here we go. They're up on plane. You hear the sound of thunder as they're getting up on plane now. There's no mistaking that sound. Now, the turbine boats, even though they're the fastest in the world, they're almost quiet. They kind of whistle as they go by. Here comes the pace boat. Yellow flag still flying. Yellow flag still flying. Coming by us right now. And I've lost view. There we go, green flags, they go by us. Bob Bull on the inside, and CM has taken off. Geico just off his transom. I'm going to go over here since I can't see anymore. Can I see the screen here? Let me see. All right, we're zoned in on that. Now that's the brand new turbine boat, Miss Mary Mack, and this is their first race, so they're going to have to play it safe. That they were told us to start a little bit behind the others. As we see, all I can see is rooster tails now as they head down. It won't take them long to do a lap. This is a 5.5 mile course, so they'll be going around here pretty quickly. Now we're turning back to our left now to see our second start, and they are getting up on plane. This is the Super Cats, the 525 engine packages, and the roughly 35-foot catamarans, and also Production 1, which is speed GPS bracketed at 117, and here they come. They're on plane now. Green flag, hammer down. Wow, off to an early lead is Twisted Metal in that 42-foot fountain. Media Master right on his tail. Sheds Plus looking good. Lori Blue Steel, here they go. My side at full bore. And I told you to be loud, didn't I?
Quite a difference from our first race this morning at 11 o'clock.
Off to a very, very late start. Coming by us right now is Popeye's War Paint. I don't know what happened, but they are up on plane now. No, I'm sorry, that's not Bob Bull. That is WHM and Geico side by side. And WHM has the inside lane. Bob Bull in third place. The advantage will go to WHM if he can maintain that inside lane. His boat is short. Let's see how they turn. They have to maintain their lanes now, so Geico is swinging out wider. WHM cutting the throttles back on him now, and he's making a good. Oh, I got real close right there. Looks like a bit of pushing. Geico got pushed out a little bit, so WHM in the lead now. And Geico about 1 second behind. In third place, coming through the turn right now is CMS. That big 47-foot MTI carving its way around now. Now he'll try to pack some air back into that tunnel. You see the rooster tail will start to lay down when that thing gets going good. They'll trim it, get it trimmed right, get it right and flat, pack that air.
Yeah, we're glad to have the race here. This is the second year, and we didn't get to make it the first year. We were building the boat, and this year we're here, and we're really glad to be here.
And what a great turnout. Almost 30 boats are here for the first race of the season, and the people here in Cocoa Beach have really gotten behind this race. 2,000 people for the boat parade.
Yeah, it's really taken on for the second year, and it seems to be a great event. We'd like to see it continue.
Speaking of getting that boat ready, you're the man that does it because you build them. This is a very, very fast MTI, and you know all about them.
Yeah, this is our 48. It's got a pair of 1350 Mercuries. It's the new twin turbo engines, and this will be our first run on it. So we're anxious to see how it does. But in the initial testing, I think we're in pretty good shape. I think it's going to run great.
You guys have always run great. Speaking of running great, your competition, WHM, a shorter hull, a 40-foot skater. He's got some big blower motors on that boat as well. With a 2 to 3 foot Caesar calling for, that might put him at a little bit of an advantage. This is a big boat.
Yeah, he's got a couple hundred horsepower on us and a little smaller boat, but I think we'll be all right. We'll go out there and run and see how we do, and we're looking forward to it. It should be good competition. Those guys are good racers.
SBI fans love the horsepower, not only in the boats, Bob, but in the cars as well. And you bring a lot of your toys here. Tell us about this Hennessy Camaro, because it is bad to the bone.
Yeah, it's a Camaro we bought, and MTI painted it to match the boat, and we put a little blower on it, and it runs real well.
With 650 horsepower, I bet it runs very, very well, like a scalded cat.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to drive. It's not quite as much fun as the boat, but it's really close.
Looking forward to a great race tomorrow.
Yeah, and if Mark with Geico stay out of our way, we'll have a good time.
Good, John. I tell you what, those big blower motors, that little 40-foot skater can really push that thing along.
I still have to tell you, I'm amazed how fast these boats are going right in front of us.
Miss Mary Mack going by right now. They're looking pretty good. Their first race ever, as we said. Brand new team. They're called Rebel Racing out of Southern Maryland. And coming around turn number 2 right now, the north turn, is Geico Caveman. That's that 42-foot skater V-bottom. all the way from England. You hear those big Chief engines, twin 1,200 horsepower engines popping a little bit, hitting the rev limiter as they hammer down. They are your leader in Superboat V Extreme. In the Super V Extreme class, Team Geico Caveman. Now this used to be Honey Party, very, very successful hull, but you know all about that, so tell us about it.
Well, it was Honey Party, and it's had its great times and it's had its difficult times, but it has always been a very, very fast boat. And it's been re-rigged now by the MF guys, and obviously Geico are now behind it, and we're expecting to have a really good season.
Speaking of that rigging, it is top notch. This is a beautiful boat. I mean, it was always a good looking boat. Even better now, you've stepped it up. You guys are from the UK, so I know you want to do well over here in Cocoa Beach in the States.
Yeah, we very much want to do well over here, and it's nice to be racing over here. I've raced here before, the odd race at Key West and things like that, and it's always been my dream to do a full season here. So, you know, thanks to Geico and thanks to AMF and Gary Stray and all the boys that have been working on it, you know, we should have a really great season.
Talk to us about the power in this boat. It's a Skater V bottom, which is sort of rare, but I know you got some big power.
Yeah, we got some really big power. It's a Skater 399. It's very unconventional the way the propulsion works. It's fixed arms and drives on a single rudder, which is very common for catamarans, but not for V-bottoms. That's what makes it very quick. And the power is, we've got two 1,100 horsepower Chief engines. So power to weight ratio is pretty high, and yeah, it should kick ass.
Coming around the turn now, right, your leader in P1 is Twisted Metal Motorsports, that red 42-foot fountain. And a great battle in Super Cat, still just ahead of Lori Blue as they make the turn. Lori Blue swung wide, maintaining their RPM, still cut the pin very, very close. Third place all the way from Norway is Team Infinity in Super Cat. Fountain Talladega and Sheds Plus, two fountains and battling out in the turn as well. Very, very close racing here at the start. Medium Master also in the hunt. Inside lane once again. They crept up there at the last second and dove in there and took the inside lane. Oh my goodness, look at that. They are side by side, swinging wide. Let's see if Geico can do a slingshot maneuver here and get by them. No, it's WHM as they go by us. Billy, when I walked up and saw those hatches up and I saw those big Sterling blower motors, it put a smile on my face. You got this boat crammed full of horsepower one more time.
Yeah, you know what? We put the big motors in about a year ago, and we ran it. And being a 40-foot boat, it really liked it. We got Bob Ball here with CMS. He's got the big motors. It's going to be an interesting weekend.
It should be very interesting. His boat is a lot longer than yours. His is 48, yours is 40. But with sea conditions 2 to 3, it may be to your advantage.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you know, we came down here just to get out of New York, get out of the rain, get the beautiful weather here. The outturn of people here is just magnificent. Hopefully it lays down a little bit. The 2 to 3 will work for me. It's going to be an interesting day. You get the two turbine boats. You got me and Bob. It's going to be a chase for the first turn.
Speaking of those turbine boats, I'm hoping that SBI President John Carbonell starts all the big boats together, turbines and the piston power, because I know, as you said, it will be a drag race that first turn.
You know, there's always been this camaraderie between the big piston motors and the turbine boats. So, you know, we've never really got the chance to get one start with them. So let's hope this one start is going to be at this race. And then, you know what? After that, what we got, 15, 12 laps? Anything could happen.
I'll tell you what Bob Bull said. He said, tell Mark with Geico to stay out of my way. Now, what does that tell you?
That tells you that Mark can't drive to save his life. So I hope he stays out of our way, too.
In the turbine class, Miss Geico back in action. Good to see you guys back. Always great to see this 50-foot Mystic be one of the premier race boats in the world.
Thank you, Stan. Great to be in Cocoa Beach. The place is an awesome venue. The fans here, they're like much like Sarasota. They expect you to come back. They're educated, and they love us being here. It's awesome.
Mark, we got great weather, 2 to 3 foot seas, and you got some very, very fast competition.
Absolutely, Stan. The Geico Mystic is ready to rock. Our crew has been working all week long to make sure this boat is perfect. We had a great test on Tuesday afternoon. We're hitting top speeds with the boat, speeds that we haven't seen before. We've got the new Miss Merrimack here. Should be super, super fast on the 48 MTI. Last time we raced a 48 MTI, Sarasota 2009, an epic battle. CMS is here with their monster Mercury power. Always, always a good battle. They chased Aquamania out to turn 1 in Key West, deck to deck. So we know that boat is ready to rock. And you can never underestimate Billy Moff. I mean, he's there. He's a dedicated racer. He runs fast. He runs hard. He doesn't play games out there. We got some serious competition.
Well, you know, far be it for me to ever try to stir something up, but I got to tell you what Bob Bull said. He said, "You better tell Mark to stay out of my way." And I quote, rebuttal?
That sure is a pretty paint job on that boat. And I know he's real, real proud of that paint job because he painted his car to match his paint job. And, well, it certainly looked pretty to me if it had some yellow on it. It's got orange, black, and silver. It's just missing yellow.
Let me say this too. Billy Moff said it's going to be a drag race between the piston power and the turbine boats to that first turn, so we're really looking forward to it.
Oh, we're looking forward to it too, and those boats look really pretty in our rearview camera.
Best of luck.
Thanks, buddy.
Popeye's Warpaint is struggling there. It almost came off plane, so they're definitely having some problems right now, but they're back up on plane, but they're trying to get that 36-foot skater with 525s running good. Now, Miss Merrimack in the turbine class has gotten past CMS. They're in different classes now, but Miss Merrimack looking pretty good. Bear in mind that is a brand new turbine boat. First time on the race course. They hadn't even done much testing, John Arruda told me. They just put the graphics on the boat yesterday. That's how new it was. And look, Bob Bull is headed back towards the wet pits. I guess his day is over. I hate to see that. Now they are allowed to make repairs on the course, but should they go all the way back to the wet pits, and their day will be done. Geico Caveman boat, that fountain really hooked up. Brett Firschman and Billy Gluck looking real good. They've raced that boat for a number of years, and they have it dialed in. Steele, still your leader over Lori Blue by about 4 seconds. It looks like the Geico Caveman boat headed back to the wet pits as well. Their day is done. Infinity now is your second place boat in Super Cat. Now Geico has put a bit of a lead on WHM, although bear in mind they're in different classes, but they were theoretically racing each other, believe me. I guess Geico got tired of going through that north turn right beside WHM, so we've had enough of this. Fountain Talladega just ahead of Sheds Plus in Production 1. Third place, Production 1, Media Master, that 37-foot outer limits. Instantaneously cuts the power off so the motors don't blow. So that's what that popping sound is. So that tells me that those boats that are doing that perhaps did not get the prop selection just right because they're on the rev limiters.
Does that also mean that the boat's actually coming all the way out of the water? Or
no, not necessarily. It could be, but whatever is causing it, they're bumping those rev limiters. When the boats do leave the water, which I haven't seen these larger boats actually leave the water. We got 2 to 3, so I doubt we'll see a lot of air time. Uh-oh, another boat Is he making the turn? Oh, that's the Popeyes war paint boat. They're having some major problems now. They're just limping around the course. I hate to see that. They just formed that team, and they're both very, very good veteran racers, but you just never know how the equipment is going to hold up.
But he's not out. He's going to continue.
No. The further they go, the more points that they'll be scored. And see, it's all about the national points throughout the year. So they want to go as far as they can. I've seen boats like limp around off plane around a race course, but they have to stay out of the other boat's way, of course, for safety purposes. But they are, yeah, they're trying to get on plane now, but it's not working. Still your leader in Super Cat, Lori Blue, just off his transom, not too far behind, certainly within striking distance. Just a couple of seconds separate those two boats.
Are these boats that are coming around now, are they aware that there's a boat in the lane, so to speak?
Yeah, well, the course marshal boat has the big blue flags flying, so they'll see them and give them a wide berth. And Popeyes is coming out a little bit, so they have a clear lane. Boy, Geico really hooked up. Look at that boat go. That's a work of art. So right now, as it stands unofficially, in Superboat Unlimited, it's WHM, Billy Moff, Jay Muller aboard that 40-foot skater. In the turbine class, unofficially, Miss Geico, Big Scott Begovich and Mark Granite aboard the Chartreuse 50-foot Mystic Cat. First place in Super Cat is Steel. And first place in Production 1 is Team Twisted Metal Motorsports. Popeyes has made a turn, and they are limping back to the wet bits.
Some of these boats are throwing up a pretty big rooster tail as they go by. I'd say at least 20 feet.
Would not want to be water skiing or wakeboarding behind there, would you?
You've got a good ride.
Media Master having a good run today. Media Master is an older hull, so 37-foot outer limits, the older technology, but still a very, very competitive boat out of New York. And he's got some big blower motors. It's lighter than it actually is in the water. I want to say hello to our good friend, Reverend Jim Black. Jim comes to almost all the races, and he always talks to all the racers and has a little prayer with the boys before the race. And we appreciate your presence, and you're welcome wherever we are, Jim.
Thanks, Stan. I appreciate it. Always enjoy being with the drivers and throttlemen and all the fans. Fabulous day today. What a great day of racing.
I told Jim, I said, Jim, the world may come to an end tonight. I don't believe it's going to, but I said, if it's all the same to you, I'm going to stop by your room about 5 o'clock because they're saying 6 is a deadline, so we'll have a going-away party together.
That's right. And we're all safe today, having a great day.
Yeah, we are. God bless. Coming around the north turn now, Team Steel just ahead of Lori Blue, number 13, that 38-foot skater looking good. Grant Bruggeman on board, Bob Noble. They had a great season last year. But big, tall Randy Swears aboard Lori Blue. He is a veteran racer as well, owner of FastBoats.com, and they are trying to reel in Steel. That's going to be very, very interesting to watch that as it plays out. And you know what, John, Miss Merrimack, the other turbine boat, is getting faster every lap. They're learning that boat. John Arruda, who rigged the boat, he told me they're going to take it easy and be safe, but they're going to go as fast as they possibly can, and they're looking good.
Well, we have been racing now about 20 minutes, and gee, it seems like it just started. Every turn gets more and more exciting. And I think you're right. I believe almost every boat is getting faster as they come around the turn here. They get a little more familiar with the race course and knowing how their boat is operating. And faster means faster.
Yeah, we're also losing quite a few boats. I see now that Team Infinity, all the way from Norway, is headed back north. They're headed towards their wet pits as well, so their race day is done. You hear that boat going by right now. I don't even know if it's on the screen. No, that's not different, but on the screen, if I can see, barely see it. That's Sheds Plus. But the Fountain Talladega, which is just ahead of Sheds Plus. Production 1 team is Sheds Plus, and I noticed with your hatch up, you had some massive power underneath there. What kind of horsepower are you talking about, or is it a trade secret?
No, it's about 1,100 horsepower. You know, Chief put them together. Tommy at Chief Engines in Miami. Tony Canali did a massive, incredible job. He re-rigged a bunch of stuff that was left previously from the other guys. So the boat is running great, and we're dying to get in it and test it.
Jackie, a big step up from those twin 750s. I mean, you guys are in production 1 now. That's the upper echelon, 117 miles per hour breakout speed. I know it's going to be exciting for you.
Yes, we are so excited, mainly because I think this is going to be our powerful year as far as finishing a race, being able to compete, have fun, get out there and represent everybody that's helped us, like you said, Canali Marine, and obviously Tommy over at Chief Engines, all of our fans and sponsors. I mean, it's just fabulous, and I'm excited because, 1, it gives us time to bond and hang out, and 2, let's race, let's win something, let's finish, let's get another flag, let's do something.
You sound like she's fired up for a checkered flag, winner's circle. Yeah. Here we come.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's all excited. She's all nervous this morning. She was like up at 6 in the morning. Come on, let's go, let's run. I'm like, it's not until 9. But she's all fired up, and the whole team, the whole family. It's just and the people and DoubleTree Hotel. They're great.
Speaking of the people, what a great venue. They've really gotten behind this race.
Absolutely. I've had like 5 or 6 residents come up to me and say, hey, what do you got? What is this? What is that? And it's fun. It's fun to actually talk to them, and you know, they've gone to the side of the boat. They've peeked in. They're like, wow, this is cool. You know, so it's good. It's a good feeling. You know.
Yeah. It's great also because John and Dina have done such an amazing job. I mean, every year it gets better, and we have our sponsor, DoubleTree Hotel, which has been great for us and having us come here and welcoming us and our team. And I can just say that Cocoa Beach has been phenomenal as far as the people, the support, the location, everything. It's gorgeous here. Yeah. John and Dina, way to go! Way to go!
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
bye.
Guys.
That's a Dodge truck motor. It's got a lot of torque, and it is marinized by the Ilmore Company. A lot of fans are interested in the various chartreuse boat. They are just the consummate professionals, that team Geico. Those guys have been together for a number of years, and that's another boat that is dialed in. They do extensive testing. They've actually gone 211 miles per hour in that boat. I think it's still up on YouTube. If you search up Geico, maybe Geico Racing, you should be able to find that YouTube video of them going 211 miles per hour. They've got some onboard cameras too that's very, very, very unique to watch that. I mean, it's just hard to fathom going that fast in the water. Things happen so quickly. You cover a lot of ground. You blink your eye and you've gone like a football field. Steele has eked out a little bit more of a lead over Lori Blue. We discussed this with Randy yesterday, how if you choose the wrong prop, you can like lose a boat length or 2 in every turn if you don't have the acceleration, and then you're like evenly matched, or you gain a little bit on the straightaway at the top speed, and then you lose another boat length or 2 in the turn. So it looks like what's happening to him. Very, very gradually, he's dropping a little bit more behind Steele, but he's certainly within striking distance. And with the attrition factor, you know, it's anybody's race. In the Super Cat class, Team Lori Blue, Big Randy, we're just talking about prop selection. It is critical. These boats do not have transmissions. You can't shift those gears. It's all about the props. Talk to us about how important that is.
Well, I really wish I did have like a 5 or 6 speed transmission. It would really make our job a whole lot easier. But basically what you've got to do is, you know, props nowadays are so many different variables. You've got rake, you've got pitch, you've got diameter, and each boat likes something different. And it also likes something different all depending on the water conditions. So we've got an array of props that we run, you know, and the whole point of testing, what we do is we'll go out and we'll kind of get an idea. We know from past races and from testing, you know, kind of what we want to run. And we'll go out and run it, and we'll see if the conditions allow us to be able to operate within the correct RPM range that we want to be. If, you know, sometimes you're going to make a sacrifice, top end speed for acceleration out of the turn. So if you go with a bigger pitch propeller, you're not going to have as much acceleration, but you'll have a higher top speed. So, you know, that's always that's always one of the trickiest ends of offshore racing, in my opinion, especially in the classes that are really, really very competitive. You know, if I choose a 37 pitch propeller versus a 38 and I run out of prop 3/4 of the way down the course, you know, I'm probably going to get passed. So you really got to be right on your A game. There's no doubt about that.
And these props are not cheap by any stretch.
No, they're not cheap at all. We've got a great relationship. We run the Herring propellers. Jeff Johnson over at Herring treats us real good. Gives us some great wheels to work with. We've got a test program with him, so he'll send some stuff out to us. We'll try it, you know, kind of give him, you know, feedback on it. And, you know, we basically make our own decisions as far as what we want to run and, you know, what type of speeds we need to run in certain water conditions. But, I mean, they're works of art. I love just looking at them. I mean, they're, you know, there's something that they're really a sight to behold, especially when you look at where props have come in the last, you know, 15 years. It's unbelievable.
I learned the hard way my first year in this business 15 years ago that they're also razor sharp.
Yeah, that's one thing that you need to be very careful of. And even in our class, too, in the Super Cat light class, they're thinned out. So, because we don't have a lot of horsepower. So one of the issues that you have with them, too, is you got to really keep an eye on them, make sure they don't have a crack, anything like that. You know, so that's something that can, you know, put you out of the race.
Speaking of testing, my last question, you guys just got back. How are the water conditions right now?
It's exactly what they said, 2 to 3s. You know, we thought it might have been a little calmer. You know, went out and run a little bit bigger prop and thought we could turn it, but, you know, I had to sacrifice my acceleration. So, you know, it's a little bumpy, and then you get the that odd kind of roller that comes and really just launches you. But it's going to be a fun race tomorrow. I'm really looking forward. We're going to get some good speeds. It gives you a little bit of everything, this race. I mean, the turns are going to be challenging. They're definitely going to be challenging because when you make the turns, you're running right into a head sea, and you get some holes, and so it's going to be a handful.
John number 1 or you number 2? Either one. 2. You're 2. Okay, I'm gonna sit down beside John number 2 because the sun has finally gotten behind the tiki hut, and I can see the monitor a little better. We're looking at Miss Mary Mac now as she goes by, panning back to the left now. On the backstretch, that is Twisted Metal Motorsports. Brett Lee Firstman, Billy Gluck. They even took their graphics off this year. That is the same boat they've had for the past several years. It's a 42-foot fountain. It's got the twin step hull. Those fountain boats have been king of the V-bottom offshore wars for many years. The deck has been cut down somewhat. There you hear the acceleration. Just a little bit of a shine walking back and forth from chine to chine as they raise the trim on those drives and air that hull out, reducing the wetted area. Here comes the Fountain Talladega. That's the boat with the V10 Viper-based motors in it. That is also a Fountain. And you see me on the side of that boat. That's because he's his own sponsor. Production 1 contenders Fountain Talladega with a very, very unusual setup. We talk about it all the time. It bears repeating. V10 Ilmor Viper power and that Arneson surface drive propulsion system. I love it.
Yeah, it's very dependable. We don't have the most power in our class, but very reliable. We hardly ever break down. Let's hope it doesn't happen this weekend. We've got 4 boats in the class. Probably not that rough, but it's going to be a good battle.
As always, you have to finish to win, so not breaking down, extremely important.
Yes, hopefully our setup, and we've done quite a few races, not with any problems at all, so hopefully we'll be there at the end anyway.
Have you made any changes at all since we last saw you in Key West last year?
No, basically all the same. So, we're going to try to get some new power for Key West this year, but it's the same as it was.
Speaking of power, Sheds Plus has got like twin 1,200 horsepower motors, but I remind them, production class, you might go too fast.
That's right, and you got to get it around the course. It's got to finish. So there's a lot of variables. We'll see how they do.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Dan.
Miss Geico coming back around for another one of their laps. They have things pretty much under control now. Miss Mary Mack is speeding up every lap, but they got a ways to go to catch Geico. Boy, you can tell Sheds Plus has some new power in that boat. It is extremely loud. Those are Chief engines, as we mentioned earlier. And switching back to WHM. I really like the way this skater runs with the bigger power. It was a good running boat, but it just seems like this little 40-foot hull, it can really handle the extra horsepower. This hull, I'm not sure the exact year it was laid up, but it's a little older, so it's probably a little heavier than the ones today, I'm sure. Like that 38-foot steel boat is extremely light. That boat right there, that's one of the newer skater. Whew, look at Miss Mary Mack go, running down and going past steel. You see the difference in speed there between a turbine and a Super Cat. And Miss Mary Mack has got its sights set on Geico. Wouldn't that be something? A brand new team for 2011 in the turbine class. Miss Mary Mack, this is a good-looking MTI, and I know you know this boat inside out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we've been living in it for the last 6 weeks, so yeah, we do know the boat pretty well.
Is it dialed in yet? I'm sure it's not, but I got to ask because I know it takes a while to dial these things in. I know it's going to be fast out of the box if you're involved in it.
Well, I appreciate that, but well, it's the baseline's there, but we have to go out and spend some time in it, dial it in, and get it to where Richard feels comfortable with it and how he likes it, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're looking forward to it. We're here to have a good time.
Talking about jumping into a pool in the deep end. I mean, you went for the gusto. This is the premier class turbine. These boats 180, 190. Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah, I've been ready all my life. Yep, it's been one of my dreams, and I'm real excited about it.
You got some great competition. Miss Geico has been around for several years. They've seen over 200, so it's going to be very, very exciting to watch this race.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure they are. We'll see what happens on the track.
Conditions right now, 2 to 3 footers. The wind's starting to pick up, but as we were talking about, they got some swells here.
Well, I mean, we're ready for anything. If it's equal for everyone. So if there's swells, it's good. If it's flat, it's good. If it's rough, I mean, we can handle anything. Randy built us a nice boat, a 48 MTI, and it feels solid for what little time we have spent in it. We bounced around a little bit down home, and you feel good about it?
Yeah, the boat feels good. It's cornering good. It's riding good. It's fast out of the hole. Everything feels good.
It's going to be a drag race to that first turn, I bet, because not only have we got 2 extremely fast turbine boats, you got like Bob Bull's a piston boat, WHM's got the blower power, so it's going to be a drag race. It's going to be piston versus turbine, and I want to tell you right now, they're talking about it.
I know. That sounds good. But we're going to hold our lane, right? So there'll be no dive into a turn, right? we don't want to go into this and you get yelled at the first time out. So we're going to play by the rules and have a good time.
Be safe, keep the shiny side up.
Yeah.
Welcome to SBI and good luck to you this year.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Buttress added to the back. It's one of the only V-bottom boats that has the shaft drives, but it's got a rudder. A lot of the cats have rudder steering, but not many V-bottoms you'll see have a rudder back there, but the Geico Caveman does. Very unusual. That, of course, was Richard Carr and Mark Pascoe from the United Kingdom, but their race day is done. This guy's isn't right here. This is their leader in Production 1, Twisted Metal Motorsports. Now, Brett's entry list tells me that he's got twin 850s in there, but I think he's, I bet he's pushing about 1,000 a side in that thing. That thing really runs good. Don't forget, though, when you're in Production 1, you do not want to run too good. You still have to watch those GPS units, and they are downloaded after the race. And if you break out even for a microsecond, you're given last place points in your class. So you can't get carried away. You have to watch the GPS and your speedometer. Now that Fountain Talladega boat also has surface drives, but they're steerable and trimmable surface drives. Jackie Piper, Joe, I hope I'm not mispronouncing Joe's last name, F-E-R-R-E-R. What do you think that is, John, number 2? Ferrer or Ferrer? Ferrer. All right, we have it officially as Ferrer. Joe M. Ferrer from Dania Beach and his beautiful girlfriend, Jackie Piper from Miami. Miss Mary Mack coming around once again. That is a 47-foot MTI. You hear that sound? Just like an Apache attack helicopter. Have not seen Medium Master in a while, so I'm thinking they may have broken down on the south end of the course. Should that be the case, then I think unofficially it would be Twisted Metal number 1 and P1, Fountain Talladega number 2, Sheds Plus number 3. Love to see about 5 of these turbine boats in this class and see some good deck-to-deck racing, and that may happen. Even in this downturn economy, we've got a brand new turbine team, so that's a good sign. Would love to see Aquamania return to the offshore wars. Look at them carve that turn with that catamaran. That's impressive. That's a big 50-foot catamaran. They just yank that thing around the turn. You'll notice how the deep V leans into the turn. They lean over on that inside chine. Now they'll hammer back down. I was asked earlier about fuel consumption, and I said, don't ask. With gas hovering around $4 a gallon at the pump, and some of these boats use the racing fuel. It is very expensive, but nothing fun is cheap, right? If you're wondering where the name Miss Mary Mack came from, they told me that that's the name of an old Confederate warship back in the Civil War. Hence the term rebel racing, I guess. I talked to them. They said we're from Southern Maryland. they made that distinction. Don't forget to keep yourselves on the beach well hydrated because it is extremely hot out here today. The sun is baking down, but we're not complaining. Much prefer the sunshine to the rain and the clouds any day of the week. Don't forget to use your sunscreen. And don't forget to log on to superboat.com often. Check out all the upcoming venues. You can check out the teams. You can download the rules. Class team Steel, and I know you're hoping that you're still the one this year, because last year you had a smoking year.
Yeah, I mean, for a new boat out of the box, we were really happy with it, and we're looking forward to a full season this year.
Grant, you've done an awful lot of wrenching on this boat, but it's paid off.
Yeah, we spent many hours, wrenching on it, like you say, and also testing the boat. And with a great product like Steel behind us, how could we lose?
The great thing about this class, as in so many other classes, not all of them, but the competition is so close. You've got the Seal motors, same horsepower, almost the same propulsion system. So it's a driver throttle man kind of class.
Yes, Stan, you're right. It's driver throttle man, and also the balance of the boat and prop choice on the day.
Now, who makes the prop choice? Be honest.
I'll leave that up to Mr. Grant here.
Mr. Grant Bergman does a prop choice. Prop is critical. We just talked to Lori Blue about the props, and the boats don't have transmissions. You got to choose the right prop, or you're done.
Yeah, you'll run out of RPM, and we're limited to 5,400 RPM. So if we prop it too tall, we're in big trouble.
Well, let's hope you choose the right prop, a 2 to 3 foot C, so that gives you a little bit of a ballpark, but they got some big swells here as well.
Well, there is a few swells out there. They're not as big as you think. 2 to 3 foot chop, that's all that's out there.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Granite, Scotty Begovich. Somebody asked me why Scotty wasn't in the caveman boat with the long hair and the beard, and I said probably because he wants to be in the turbine boat. Go ask him. You go ask Big Scotty why he's not in the caveman boat. But I think it's a good gimmick. Coming from a wrestling background, we're all about gimmicks. And speaking of wrestling, I had some sad news yesterday about the passing of a good friend of mine, Macho Man Randy Savage. Randy and I started out in the business together way back in the late 70s, and knew him very well, and he had a heart attack in Sarasota, Florida. There's Media Master now, limping back, but I want to send our condolences out to Randy Paffo's family, and he was a great wrestler and great entertainer, and he will be missed. Twisted Metal Motorsports showing his transom to all the other P1 boats since the green flag flew. Can he keep that boat together? Can he hold it together and make the checkered flag? Right now, with the race about 3/4 or 4/5 of the way through is when you start hearing those funny sounds, and you start crossing your fingers and your toes and hoping nothing breaks. It's not always the $60,000 engine that blows. It could be a 25-cent fitting. John, number 2 over there, are you back on with me? You weren't wagering over there, were you? I saw some money exchanging hands. I don't have headsets, so I can't hear what you're saying, but I'm sure it's good. Hey, John, I have headsets now. Talk to me. Plus on the backstretch, going around their turn boat there. They are trying to make up some ground. They got that brand new power in there. They jumped up from twin 750s last year to twin, well, he wouldn't tell me how much exactly the horsepower is, but I'm just by looking at the engines, I'm guesstimating about at least 1,200 a side. They're big Chief engines, humongous blowers. And that thing does have some acceleration. Look at him, he's up side by side with Steel. Of course, Steel now, let's be realistic, Steel has the twin Seal 525 horsepower, but it is a catamaran, so it's faster than a V-bottom. But you see that horsepower differential there. All the Super Cats have to run the same ECUs. I've heard conflicting reports. The RPM limit is 5,600, and I've heard 6,000. I'm going to have to check on that, but I mean, we're only talking about a few more horsepower if they're able to wind it up a little higher. They have led almost wire to wire. Well, they have led wire to wire in their class. They duked it out with Geico, which was very entertaining and exciting for about 3 laps. And then after WHM and Geico made the turns in this north turn about 5 feet from each other 3 times in a row, I think Geico said, we better not do this anymore. This is not looking good. Got to get away from these guys. After Michigan City, we'll be headed to the Big Apple, New York, on the Hudson River. They shut the Hudson River down for us. Twisted Metal, full song coming by us. After New York, Clearwater Beach, the national championships. Of course, the world championships are in Key West. A week long of racing, 3 races, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Want to tip our hats, even though they have not been utilized today, and they hope they, ooh, look at here, side by side now. Lori Blue has caught up with Steel. They are deck to deck, but now Steel pulling away on the straightaway. That looks strange. I don't know, Lori Blue caught up with them, and then they seem to lose power going down, headed towards the south turn, and now my view is blocked by the tiki bar, and I'm watching the monitor now, so have to keep a tab on that when I see them again. Geico giving a wide berth to Sheds Plus. Different classes, of course. Dr. Lou Pisano out of Miami is their trauma doctor. Lou's been with us for several years, does a great job. So hopefully they won't be utilized, but they are there should they be needed. Super Cat. But with the sun passing down in the west now and gotten behind the tiki bar, we have just a little bit of shade here, and we can see the monitor we have set up. Glory Blue still out there, roughly about a 8-second deficit to make up behind Steele. Beautiful MTI boat. Get to pull the tape, and then you might have a problem. Exactly. Yeah. Matter of fact, the CMS spotter just tore down his stuff. He had the antenna up and his headset because, unfortunately, Bob Bull and Randy Sism in the CMS boat, had a short day today. They had some problems, and so he left early. But yeah, most of the boats do have spotters just to let them know, who's behind them, who's coming up on them, what's going on. Class, WHM. Looks like he's finishing up, slowing down too as we speak. Or perhaps just for that last turn. The Super V Extreme boat we lost earlier, that was that Geico Caveman, so. But he was the only boat in that class, so. Yeah, WHM going back around, so their laps are not completed yet. But we are winding down here in Cocoa Beach. Another successful race, another huge record-breaking crowd, and we had a lot bigger fleet of boats this year than last year as well, so that's always a positive. And we hope to see even bigger and better things in the future. And with the economy down, the sponsorships are down, but we're still making a go of it and still doing very, very well here at SBI Superboat International. As the camera helicopter zooms in on the Steele boat, it's a 38-foot skater, 388 skater, one of the newer designs, state of the art as he makes his turn there. He's got the Mercury 525s in there. Very good engine, extremely reliable. They actually produce. They're rated at 525. From what I hear, they usually produce anywhere from 540 to 550. Sometimes Mercury measures the horsepower at the crank for some of their engines, and they measure it at the prop for other engines. Of course, you lose horsepower at the prop going through the outdrive system. Glory Blue still out there battling, trying to run down Steele. They've been battling all day long here. Yeah, it's definitely on the last lap or two. But the crowd here on the pier has not diminished at all. As a matter of fact, after a couple of hours of the adult beverages there, they're having more and more fun by the minute.